Good morning, YouTube. This is Jason, Tactical Data Desk LLC. We are rocking and rolling on the live stream. It's 9:27. We are about to hit that market. I'll tell you what, got up today, checked futures. They were down a couple, not much. And then I got down here, turned things on, and they were down 40. ES was down 40. Gosh darn. So check this out. What you are seeing right now. Hold on, my chair fell. I got to get a better chair. So, what you are seeing right now on the screen is an AI engine indicator I built. It's called Tactical Sentinel Overwatch. Right now, I've got this up on the NVIDIA chart. You remember yesterday, you watched my analysis, said if NVIDIA closes above 210, which is where the call wall was, well, we showed the call walls in Thinkorswim on both OPEX and 0DTE. And the analysis was if we can get and hold above 210, it's gone. So this is the NVIDIA chart from yesterday. You can see here at about 10:30 we dipped down to the entry line, which is this green line. Once that goes down and closes above it, it's rocketing up. And then here's 210 out right here. Once we closed above that, it went all the way up to 216. So once we get above that call wall with volume and options, we're in technical gamma squeeze territory, and that's why NVIDIA rocketed up. But this specific indicator will be available soon in the NinjaTrader ecosystem and on my website. Not really an indicator, if you will. This is a thinking visual tool that you can use on anything: futures, forex, stocks, indexes. This is the S&P 500 chart. Now remember, oh, that's the bell. 9:30 we opened. So man, real low open. You know, SPX doesn't trade after hours, but here's what it looks like on SPY. Anytime you get a dip to this green line, that's your entry signal. And typically it'll either go up midpoint or up to the red line. Here's what it looks like on futures. A lot. I got that, what's that called? Market depth on there. Turn that off. This is what it looked like yesterday. Lots of great entries yesterday on futures. This is the 7 a.m. This is today. Wow, huge candle. Let's go back to the HUD. This is ES. We are, wow, the shift, 242. Start to get those lines accurate now that we open. NVIDIA is dropping. I'm sorry, NQ. Futures are real low. Now look at this ES chart. You remember this yellow line? This is a level we drew last week, Monday. And this is where futures went to. Then popped back up a little bit. This is one of the first days we've seen in a while where we're in, oh, look at that. Lots of put buying by institutions. Do you see that? Those put walls grow? Holy cow. This is one of the first days in a while we've seen ES in a negative regime. And typically it's been positive the last few days. But good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's live stream. It is Tuesday, the 28th. We are 1 minute into this. Your low looks like is at 71.47. Wow, we're look at the negative exposure here on NQ so far. Beginning. NQ looks like it's overall positive regime, but we'll see what happens. This is NQ on that Sentinel Overwatch. So many great trading opportunities. Here's one. Here's one. Here's one. When you see Pre-market doesn't really count. Oh, headed NQ just reversed. Look how thin this profile is right above those two big wicks. That's pretty thin. Well, happy Tuesday, everybody. All right. I guess the news was Trump was not happy with Iran's quote unquote plea deal. And so I guess oil spiked up. Said, look at oil futures. CL is up 319. Said something about topped 111 a barrel. I don't see that on the futures, but I guess it did. Well, 101 the futures topped at this morning at about 751 CL futures. In case you can't see that. Here's a toss CL futures here at 99. This morning it topped out at 101. This is what ES looks like. Low of 71.47. But climbing back up right now. NQ was down 27.36. Yeah. Pretty exciting. Pretty exciting trading day. Check out those gamma exposures. Here's the net just showing positive and negative on this is the SPX price. These are SPX prices. And then here's total. Big premium buying right off the bat. Still negative. Overall weight negative. Negative and falling. Yeah, net's 81, negative 81.45 on ES. We're in some thick volume area. We're in some thick volume. Above point of control so far. Point of control is right here at 71.67. Better check those deltas. Get out the handy dandy calculator. Well, we did have a doctor's appointment yesterday. Everything went okay. Got to go back to that specific one in 6 months. I'm in September 31. I was going to start the one I have for commercial version, but I'm got to try to wrap that up, get that out today. $27. NQ's 127. Do that. We're at, got this on 134. Nice V-shaped recovery. Gorgeous V-shaped recovery on NQ. Right when it touched down, about that close below that put wall, had a wick above it, giant candle above it. Fantastic. All right. Well, it is raining cats and dogs here. Yeah, like pouring, literally. I had to turn my sprinklers off. It's so pouring. I don't know if that's gonna continue throughout the day. So we're at that top rate before open here. 928 topped out at 27,177. So this will be a key level where we're thin volume profile above it. So let's watch this on NQ. This is a 1 minute candle. See if we can close above that. I don't know. We got some negative exposure here. Do we think this candle will hold? Looking a little weakish right now. Trading in negative gamma days. Gray. Not impossible. It's just a little bit different. But so far, the overall regime in NQ is positive, but negative gex on there. Yeah, it's spread all over the place for NQ. Look at this. This is what the NDX. This is your NDX index exposure. Now the gex weight, first minute, very low, but the shift is rising, which you can see that reflected in price. But you look at these two candles on futures here for NQ. Not much. It looks like we might be tracing back down into that negative profile area. It's thin here, but I don't know. Right when I say that, nice little greens forming. There it is. Looks like rolling over a little bit. Zoom out, see. Yeah. I guess that news probably right around 6:45 looks like. Nice trace down. Stuck here. It's always hard trading the first few minutes unless you know exactly. Still negative regime on ES. Thin area here on ES too. See right above that, there's no volume. We're negative until we get to above 7,200, so 25 points away. That buy pressure wall just moved up. We're below the flip line. You can see the 0 DTE gamma flip line here, 71.85. We're below it. Above the put wall though. Okay. Yep. Big. This is the issue when you got thin areas here. Nice big candle. Hard to hold this market down, even with that news. There we go again. See if we can blast through. See if we can blast through this wall, like 2720, right through that thin area. If you can find a thin area in volume profile, you're gonna get through it faster. And that's why it's critical having order flow volume profile on your charts. You want to trade through the thin areas. Blast. We're going to get stuck there. That looked like it was shrinking to me. We'll probably go right through it. But your next big node on NQ, we're right almost to it. 20. Look at 2750. Looks like right above 2750, 2755. Can you hear the rain behind me? I hope not. I've got noise reducer on, but I can hear it pounding behind me. No, this is a not a very big wall. We'll see if it holds up or not. Back to ES here. Yeah, we we closed that thin area a little bit, but couldn't get above this right here in the negative regime. Ashley, yo, that's your favorite line. Topu trades. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. What's ZGF? Oh, zero gamma flip. Yeah. Topu trades. I get my real time options flow from Schwab. I have real time data feed. For this chart, I have, for what you're seeing now, all this comes from Schwab. I also get it for other visualization tools I have, which I haven't really shown too much here, but I will in the future. Like I have I've got real time flow. So this is my flow engine. I've got real time SPX options flowing through here. That comes from another data provider, all free. There's so many places out there you can pay for it. You don't need to. You can get it all for free. Once I get this wrapped up for commercial use, which should be today or tomorrow, then I'll have to submit it through the ecosystem for it to get to approve. Then I'll be hosting it on the website. I've got I got a pretty amazing, what I call desktop version of this, where you don't need NinjaTrader. You don't really need any charts up. You can have it up, but pretty sweet. It also works on any stock, future, ETF, index, whatever, anything that has options where you get to select which expiration you want. I'll get into that. Yep, tapped out there. This is a pretty thick wall. Put walls down at 71.56 on ES. Let's see what NQ did. Yeah, couldn't get above that. Cleaned out that thin area. Now, look at this volume profile. If we can, I always forget how to do region highlight. If we can get, if it gets here, it'll probably, if it gets down past 27,207, give or take, that's a thin area. It'll trade through that pretty quick. Then it's back to thick area. So since we're in positive regime, I'll leave that there for now. So we're showing NQ, and since we're in a positive regime so far overall, if it trades through this thin area, this would be 2780 or whatever, somewhere around there. Be a good dip area on NQ based on that thin area on the volume profile. But you'd want to see it dip down into that and then have some confirmation that we're gonna head up. Right now we're stuck on this negative wall right here, and we'll see what happens. Could be an inflection point. I'll take that. I'll take this. I just have a hard time getting these off. You got to click it just right. And as you know, I am not good with a mouse. But we got a thin area above it where we could trade right up through it. You know, I think I have carpal tunnel because my hands have been going numb holding your wrist up on the mouse. I think I need one of those pads where you put your hand so it's like this on a mouse instead of like this. It's killing me. At night too when I'm trying to sleep. Here we are back to ES at night when I'm trying to sleep. I think this wall grow from last time when we had the chart up? Looks like it. Headless chart data. What does headless chart data mean? Oh, look at that. That's a big pop. What's NQ doing? Big pop down also. Yeah, so look at this. So on this chart, when the way you read this, when you get a breach of the line, you don't trade this. This is Sentinel Overwatch. You don't trade this in the first 30 minutes. You got to let the volatility uh, um, settle in so the AI engine can read it. And then you trade after 10 o'clock. So the first 30 minutes, 9:30, see this white line? This is my Sentinel Overwatch visualization that's got an AI engine built into it. Goes directly on the chart. It works on anything. At 9:30, this white vertical dash line prints, and then a yellow line will print at 10. The first half hour, you got to watch the market price to see what happens. And if we have a breach where candle closes outside of the red cloud above it or below the green cloud, you got to switch to the next operational level by just clicking this and hitting F5 to refresh. And I see how that expands the volatility measure. Still, you don't trade this. You wait till 10 o'clock. And then throughout the day, a couple different ways. If you're aggressive, if you get a close below a green dash line in prices below the 21 EMA, whatever you like to use, and it gets back above the green line, you go long. And same thing, if we get a close above the red line after 10 a.m. and then it closes back below, you go short. This thing's deadly accurate, works on anything. So on ES in the first half hour so far, we don't have any uh, breaches. We got to wait till 10 o'clock. Here it is on SPY. Got that market depth map on, left that on, turn that off. So you can see 9:30. So if you're aggressive and don't care about the rules of this, you could have bought calls, sold puts, whatever. 7-Eleven traded it all the way up to 712. Here's S&P. Same thing here. See how we closed just above that red line, then back below it. You can get a couple points. Here's NVIDIA. Good to know that the market depth works on the stocks here. I haven't played with that yet. You see, this is yesterday's chart on NVIDIA. Every time the hour started and we're below the green, rockets up. Hour starts at the green, rockets up. Hour starts at the green, rockets up. Now that'll be available soon. So ES is still negative. Some pretty thick red candles. NQ. Here's that thin area that we'd be looking to trade through if it gets down there. Sell pressure is active. A lot happening. under baby crying. I do not have a baby in the house. Underlying data without the front end visual. You lost me again. Actually, I think you're too smart for me. Here we go through that thin area on NQ. Here we go through that thin area on NQ. Yep, right through it. Oh, okay, thank you. Bam. Yeah, almost 10. I'm going to have to turn here soon. I got a couple of phone calls to make. I got more charts to build. But look at this. Hit that pressure wall. This is pretty incredible for NQ. Hit that pressure wall and just rocketed right on down. Look how thick this wall is here down below. And this is all thin. So we're going to trade through that, and then we'll see if there's a confirmation candle for up. That'd be a good dip to buy. But it looks like very heavy selling pressure. And look, went right through this thick profile right here, right on down. Love it. We do have active sell pressure magnet for the NQ price. That's a huge candle. Man, rolling down. Yeah, the GEX shift on SPX is heavy again at negative 140. The shift started at negative 140 million, popped up to negative 100 million. Now it's real low. Wow. We're running. Here's ES. We are at point of control. We are at point of control right now on the volume profile. Low, higher low, higher low. Want to watch this candle. See what it does. And there we go. So a nice thick wall here and price rejected off it. Looks like 4-point scalp if you were in it. Well, let me ask you this as we look at order flow volume profile. What what type of things would help you visualize the order flow volume profile besides your traditional markers of value area high, low, point of control, buy versus sell? I'm going to pull up. Wow. I'm gonna pull up look at the GEX shift here. You can you see this GEX shift here on total this is SPX. We are at where it popped lower at the open. And the engine that reads that did just say shorting into weakness. Now it's mixed flow as we get a bounce up. So this is would be a rip. So we're going to want to watch. And what I mean by rip is you look at the heads up display, it says short the rips. So here's a rip up, and if we get some type of confirmation that it's going to head lower. I don't see. There's a small gap, fair value gap here, and a small one here. Stuck at that level, just above point of control. There we go. Short the rip, and you just saw it. That's a couple points. If that holds. Oh, we got news at 10, JBL 31. Do you know what the news is? This is 10 o'clock right now. Any idea what the news is? I got to get better at checking out the news feeds. See what's happening out there. Sometimes like I get down here so late. There's so many things going on. It'll slow down and I'll be able to focus more. There's just so many things going on. Looks like that would be a key area to watch here. That candle popped down but then closed midway. Yeah, getting some buying volume coming back in. Consumer confidence in Richmond Manufacturing Index. Is it out yet? As a consumer, does anyone have confidence in the current economy right now? We couldn't hold that. Here we go. What are the numbers? Do I need to look them up? It is. Both beat expectations. Well, maybe they didn't beat them enough because we're lower. Looks like a lot of indecision to me. Nvidia's up $2 from where it was. Apple's up. Yeah, Nvidia got lowest was 208. Now we're back up to. Oh, do you guys remember? Every time in Thinkorswim it gives me price as a percentage. I called them about that, and they don't know why it does that. Anyone else have Thinkorswim that happens to? Nvidia's at 212. Uh, double top. If we can close above this, Nvidia might rocket back up again, but we'll see. At the high of where it was. CL's holding steady at 343. All right, so here we're in no man's land right now. This is Sentinel Overwatch. So we see the yellow line that printed at 10 a.m., yellow vertical line. So now you're clear to make a trade. So, but you got to wait for it to hit green line or red line. And then that's your AI boundary of where price is extended about as far as it's going to extend. And then from there, you want to look for your, however you like, confirmation of a quote unquote reversal. I don't like that term, but I'll use it. However you like to look for that. But right now, since we're right in the middle of the clouds on NQ, to me, that's no man's land. And this is a great addition to use with Gamma as well. I could put this right on this chart because when you get clouds, which are defined by the AI engine built in here in mathematical, this has everything to do with all the price and all the volatility that already happened. So this isn't guessing. If you can get a wall lined up with a cloud, that's crazy accurate. Same thing on ES futures. We're stuck in the middle. Same thing for SPY. Same thing for SPX. Same thing for NVIDIA. And you can, like I said, this works on anything. Futures, forex, whatever you got, whatever you want to see it on. Now we're getting some buys here. I got to check something. All right. Wonder if we can trade up through that thin area, which is value area high also. But like I said, looks like indecision to me. I'd be waiting for a better opportunity. See what we got going here on NQ. NQ is overall still positive. The total regime. Here's your one one of us in the live stream likes to call out head and shoulders. Would you consider this a shoulder, head, shoulder? This will be a tough level to get past. Plus, we got some exposure right there. Good inflection point here on NQ. But it's struggling. Yeah, struggling here. This is order flow volume. Oh, wow. That was real. This is order flow volume profile, point of control, that thick red line. Have to get above this. Look at this trend line here. We'll watch that. Will this trend line hold or break? Jason, have you ever seen or used the big trades bubble indicator? Are you talking about JBL? Are you talking about the trade detector? Takes a second to load. Oh, do I have to have tick data on? Yeah. This will take a second to calculate. Yeah, I have. I like it. I'm going to use that more too, but um, I'm going to use that. When I have time, I'm going to combine. I don't know why it's not showing. I might have too much overlaid on here. Uh, I'll work on it. I'll I'll try to pull it up in a different chart. Um, I want to combine that bubble trader, big trades bubble trader, with the market depth map. I'm going to turn tick data off because I don't need tick data for anything I do here. Combine that with okay, let me start over. Let me take a breath. Okay, yes, the bubble trader is awesome. It's an awesome tool. And so that trend line would just close below it. So we have to wait to see what this candle does. So here we're below point of control. We have an exposure wall here. We're below that trend line. I do love it. I do think it's great. I want to take that. I don't like the standard off the shelf one, but I want to take that, utilize that with the market depth map, which I know you're familiar with, obviously, since you asked me if I know about the bubble trader. And I'm going to turn those two things into what will essentially be a version of bookmap on NQ. Yeah, trade detector is awesome, but sometimes it's a little too much on the chart. But yeah, absolutely, we can roll that into this, and then since you can get all that data, hold on a second. Yeah, you can get all that data. I know how to get all that data out of NinjaTrader, so I want to take all that, put it into an engine or something that looks at it, calculates it, and then make that into something that doesn't just show the bubbles, but has an analysis of what happened within that bubble and what's likely to happen to price, etc. Yeah, that's a good idea. I love it. I'll roll it in. It does help a ton, right? Just the same concept as book maps, so you can see. Uh, what's the phrase I want to use for the bigger, like the biggest buying, biggest selling, the bigger the bubble. Absolutely fantastic to see all that. But I'm just trying to do baby steps here as JBL. I know you've been here before, but I'm trying to. Here we go. There we go. Drew the trend line. Crash below. I don't want to say crash. Just strike that from the record, Your Honor. Strike that word from the record. But we closed below that trend line, and then we touched it and got a couple points below. Um, baby steps. I'm still trying to finish this. What you see on the heads up display here, this chart. I'm still trying to finish this out for commercial launch. Put it on my website so you guys can grab it, use it on your own, put it on whatever you want to put it on, and go from there. And then I'll start rolling out more features. 1,100 short contracts. Hey, JBL, if you want to, you don't have to do this, obviously. Totally your call. But this is just because I'd love to see how you use it. This is my Twitter account, x.com account. If you want to take a picture of that and either post it to me or send it to me so I can see what you got, I'd love to. But again, totally your call. If you don't like sharing your stuff, absolutely no problem at all. I got to read a message here on my other computer. Give me 1 second. 1 second. And I'll turn Schwab network on. Here's something else. I use Motive Wave, but I'll share it. Oh, you use Motive Wave? Man, how do you like it? You don't got to share it, man, if you don't want to. Uh, I think Motive Wave, I've heard of that. It was like 6 months ago I looked into it. Pretty sweet. That's a subscription, right? I got to look at my other computer for a second. Give me a second. Oh, you're a Mac user? Oh, yeah. I don't know much about Mac computers. I don't know how the RAM and whatnot works for Mac. I'm sure I don't even know if it's the same. One thing you guys will always get from me: brutal honesty. I do not know how Mac computers are different from Windows computers, but struggling below that trend line. I just saw some move down. I'll flip back over to ES. Still in no man's land here. But sorry I didn't have this up, but here you go. You had an entry on ES. What is this, ES? Yeah. So here we are on standard because we didn't get a breach. You set your buy here at 71.65 and you could have got up to 71.71. And then we're headed back down to it. Buy, SPX, NVIDIA. NVIDIA's at 212. So up pretty good from the lows because I think it was at 2. This is ES now on the chart. I think it was at 209. Oh, Ninja Trader doesn't have a native Mac program? Don't you think that's weird? I'm going to Google Motive Wave. I'm looking away from the chat for a second. Motive Wave. Ooh. All right. So it's 10:20. I got to take a break and run up, use the bathroom real quick. I'll be back in 120 seconds. That's probably TMI. Sorry, everybody. TMI. I'm back, or while I was gone, we touched that level 71.65. So remember, that was same as this green line. So, like I said, if you can line this up with a gamma wall, your opportunities fired up are amazing. So here's another opportunity, 71.65 again. And you just put your stop like 2 or 3 points below it, so 71.63, and you would have gotten, I think, 3 points. How much is that on ES? I can't do that math in my head. I'm also very tired as well. Another great opportunity. Here you go. You're watching it. 71.65 with a tight stop, and 71.68, couple points. So you can move your stop up with it. You just got to, like with anything, you got to put into context. Like you got lower high, lower high, lower high, the head and shoulders, but pretty good opportunity. Here we are. So we've touched that wall once and up, twice and up, just like I showed you on the cloud. Yeah, NQ, love that trend line. Yeah, this is NQ. So recall, like, what time is it? 10:25. 20 minutes ago, 25-ish minutes ago, we said we were in no man's land on NQs. We're not near any of these clouds. Did break that trend line down. Trend line trading is absolutely fantastic. Love it. Problem is, you got to draw the trend lines. And so I've toyed with having those be automatic. Problem is, then you're not in control and you're not really sure why it drew a trend line all the time. But anyway, NQ is overall positive regime, overall positive. So it's by the dip. So you can get some. Now we got high, lower high, lower high, probably rolling down because sell pressure is active on this. All right, let me check this chat. Yes, the cloud is ready to be launched. That was the first thing that, so the NinjaTrader vendor team, they have a license to it. That's the first thing that they tested of mine. And that's how I got approved to be a vendor once they tested that. Here we are at this put wall. One of the put walls, the big one. So I've got this ready to go. I have to send it through the commercial side facing vendor system, get that approved, then put it out on my website. Now, my significant other is helping me with the website, and we're trying to find the best payment vendor because we were going to use Lemon Squeezy, but Lemon Squeezy won't let you do anything for trading, like indicators or visual tools, anything regarding trading. They don't let you do it. So now we got to pivot. Probably going to have to use PayPal. Okay, let me read this. Yes, I'll launch the cloud. JBL, I got MotiveWave up on another tab. I'm about to look into it. I got to type a couple messages on my other computer real quick. And then thank you for your con 4487. Which one are you talking about? And then BK Trades. I'm really interested in the Overwatch. Yeah, you're gonna love it. You know what? I'll try to get that out today or tomorrow. So, bam, look at that. Let's see what that looks like on ES. Another great entry. It depends on how you like to trade as well, right? So are you conservative or are you aggressive? Like if you're aggressive, you could have put your buy order. I'm not giving trading advice because I'm not a financial advisor. Nor am I telling you to do this. I'm just telling you I built this tool to be used in a variety of ways, and I've got an instruction guide and a video that tells you how to do it, blah, blah, blah. If you could have put your buy order at the green line, or if you like premium value a point or two or tick or two below it, then you could put your stop outside the cloud or right at the cloud. And man, another 5 points. It's good. If you use it with market context, like if you think that's a level where it's going to start retracing, you can put your buy order up. I'm pointing at the screen, like you can see where I'm pointing. You can't. You could put your buy order up at the red cloud. Um, I was thinking about changing this again to here in the center, which would be like the midpoint between the two gray lines, and I'll explain what those gray lines are in a second. Making like a off-white, like a gentle white line, so you can see the midpoint. Because if you like to trade more than one contract, your midpoint would be your first exit area. If you like to get profit right away, then you can move your stop up to break even and go from there. It's like, well, I don't want to have too many lines on there. So these gray dash lines, if you can see them, the gray dash lines, those are there as like your warning signal. So once price touches a gray dash line, like, okay, get ready to see what happens and watch from there. Yeah, this is done. That one's done and ready. We can get that going. Yes, break. I will launch. Yeah, I've got a lot of things to launch. I will launch this. Believe it or not, even though it's May, it's still chilly in the basement. So I have a blanket and it gets caught under my chair wheels. But yeah, I'm gonna launch this Gex thing, and I think you were here yesterday or the day before. I think it was yesterday. I rewrote the code so that all of this is wrapped up into one visual package. The heads up display, the buy pressure, the put walls, all these lines. Where you see where it says NQ volatility trigger, magnet, sell pressure, and the exposure walls for the gamma. All that's wrapped up into one. And like you saw me earlier go in here and type in the NQ to NDX adjusted points. That's automatic now. And so you don't have to do that anymore. So like, for example, I got Thinkorswim up. I'm going to see what that spread is right now. But right now, the one I have up, and I'll tell you why I have this one up and not the other one. Man, am I getting old? I cannot see. I don't have to start wearing glasses. I guess it wouldn't be all that bad if I did. $134. So now that spread is 134. Yeah, I can't even put a 4 in there. So that'll update. Now, let me pull it up. Okay, so this is this gonna show up? Okay. So I've rewritten the code, right? And now I'm gonna pull this over so you can see it. It's not active. So just hear me out on this. So I have rewritten the code. Now, hopefully you can see this. Yeah, I'm seeing it on my live stream, so you've got to be able to see it. You see, this is gray. It's not active. I don't have the live data feed into this right now because I didn't start it because I'm working on the box where you type in all your stuff. Can you see right here where it says basis? So it says ES command node, which is very similar to this, where it says basis +0. That's going to be for the commercial release version, which I'll start using on here too when I'm done with it. That's going to be the constant real-time price difference between ES and SPX. So it'll automatically update all the time. Leo, we have a toggle for the command center on the left to show hide it from the chart. You know, that's a great idea. I'm assuming you're talking about this. That's a great idea because I don't like having all that there. Yeah, I can do that. Put a toggle button up here that says show hide command center. I was also thinking about rewriting the code to have this just at the top. So instead of being vertical like this, take it and have it be at the top. Here we go. Look at, guys, hit that trend line and below it. Here's a 955 low. So let's watch that level, then this level. Here's back to ES. Yes, Leo, I will do that. That's easy to do. That'll only take me a second. That's important, I think. All right. All right, I'm reading about motive wave here. I guess I would need to look at some videos of motive wave. They don't really have main features. So, whoa, what happened? I looked away for a second. We're rocking lower. JBL motive wave. I got that up. I'm reviewing it. That's why I'm quiet. Hmm. Hmm. So, are you still on here, JBL? Oh, JBL. You okay? You sent me that picture. I'm looking at it. Yeah. Buyers pushing. Hey, JBL. Okay. This picture you sent me on Twitter, do you mind if I pull that over to the live stream? You can absolutely say no. No. Did Trump tweet? We don't know. I'm not watching the news, probably. We're coming down to that level we drew on Monday, which, if you were watching, we kind of consolidated a little bit below that and went back up. Are all of them reporting tomorrow? I'll look. I can do my own homework. I'm sorry to ask you. I can look. Okay, motive wave. Um, I'm going to take a picture of it. That way I don't want to show any of your data. Look at this. Look, let me check NQ for a second. Wow. I love it. Okay. Um, this, just real quick. Uh, did you draw this thing where it says lost this level, likely now resistance? Did you draw that? And did you put this buyers pushing but not gaining? And did you do this delta divergence? Or is that automatic? Is this big trade automatic pop up? Or is that something you did on this chart? Cool. Thank you for sharing that, by the way. Yes. Now, oh man, look at this. Looked away from the chart for a second and we're destroyed. You drew that? You drew those? Okay. So you trade through motive wave. Is that correct? Okay. Um, I was looking at this. I can probably automate all that in NinjaTrader. I don't have motive wave, but I could probably do all of them, automate that. I can automate I have a cumulative delta. I can put cumulative delta on the bottom here, but it takes up room. And I've got something that automates the divergence, like that picture said, cumulative delta diverging with price, which is a key indicator. Absolutely. Or not an indicator per se, but a key insight. Absolutely. I can automate all that. Maybe that'll be my next project. So I've got Sentinel Overwatch I have to release. I have to finish this. I know you can't see where I'm pointing. I have to finish this to get out. I've got this desktop version of gamma exposure that everyone can use on every ticker. You can have as many as you want at a time. And then I've got this trading system visualization tool from this YouTuber that's got millions of subscribers and blah 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 that I think people are gonna love. And then maybe I can work on automating that. I got so many other tools for order flow, like look at this, man. We are just getting rushed. That shows like delta absorption. This is that level on ES that we drew. So we'll see what happens. Let's look at the exposure all the way down. Yeah, look at this. Let me pull this up. Here, this is the SPX prices. So we're stuck right now between two huge put walls that have a pretty significant GEX weight. And look at the GEX shift. GEX shift is pretty low and getting lower. We're between. You can't see my cursor for some reason. I don't know why, but we're between two put walls. Guys, okay, look at NT8. We hit that level. This is the level we drew on Monday. We already touched that once earlier and kind of came back up. That's a massive put wall right there. Huge. So that's an area where market makers really don't want to see price go below because it exposes their books. And the next biggest wall is that one we showed, which is right down here. And then, we just got to move up. So maybe that was the low point, but that's why you got to have gamma exposure on your charts. Makes a huge difference. So at this level we drew Monday as well. So we're at a put wall. We got to watch that. If they go below it, you know how this works. I've kind of gotten away from the core of how gamma works. Market makers don't want to let price go below a put wall because it exposes their books. But if institutions are heavily buying puts, and you'd see that by these red bars growing from right to left when we tick out, when time goes by, if it grows, that means there's more put buying below that price. So market makers have to sell those puts, what exposes their books anymore, and then to hedge, to balance, they've got to sell futures. So every futures contract is one delta. So the lower price goes below that, the bigger their delta hedge needs to be. So the more futures contracts they have to sell. Maybe the first time at that price point, they got to sell. I'm making this number up. Remember, this is all predicated on math. Maybe they got to sell 10 contracts, just an example. But then as price goes lower and their delta expands, now maybe they got to sell 20. And then as it keeps expanding, because the delta of the underlying that they sold gets closer and closer to 1, they got to sell maybe 50, then 100. And that just keeps the cycle of constant selling into the weakness going more and more and more. until it gets to a point where there's another put wall that will form below it, where institutions have stopped buying below it and market makers won't let the price go. So it's one thing to just have a wall like this, but it's another thing to know what's happening below it. Because if walls are growing below it, then that wall may or may not hold true. So another key tool I'm working on, you know what, I'll keep that to myself because this one's going to be pretty advanced. Anyway, JBL, thanks for sharing that chart, man. I love it. And that looks awesome. And I think I can make all that here in Ninja Trader. Let me follow you back. JBL Trading. Sorry, I'm releasing all your information. This is public. Applications Chemist. This is pretty sweet, man. I just followed you back. Dang, you got some good stuff on here. Dang, dude. Sorry. Dang, JBL. Sometimes I overuse dude and man. February 5th, steady your impulses. Don't be bounced around, but submit every impulse to the claims of justice and protect your clear convictions. Marcus Aurelius. Wow. I've read that. I'm a big philosophy nerd. This is cool. I'm stuck on your website. On your Twitter, sorry. Okay. Yes, you drew those. I wish they were automatic. I'm reading the chat. I haven't looked at it in a few minutes. Amazon, Microsoft, Google, Meta, then Apple Thursday. Holy cow. Man, should we make some trades? Should we hit some spreads, some condors, and let the volatility crush get it? All right. Okay. We're getting close to 11. Takoa, you are welcome. Now, that's the anecdotal explanation. Just remember, you can't blindly do anything. You are very welcome, though. And please don't think, if you're watching this live stream, which I really appreciate, and I'm not, like, you've seen me talk before, I'm 27-year Air Force veteran, integrity, service, excellence. I'm here to give back to the trading community. Obviously, I'm not a professional YouTuber because I never look in the camera like I am now. I'm staring down at the chat. This is not an entertainment channel. You'll never see me with hype crap like see these guys with their video titles say the strategy that made me 100 million. Do you think they made 100 million but yet spent 3 days making that YouTube video? Do you think they made $100 million? I don't know. Or watch me take $50 to $10,000 on NQ live trading session. Then you watch it and they don't make one trade. You know, they whole market themselves on live trading, and they don't make one trade. Then they say, "Oh, you got to join my private room to see." Do you think that's realistic? Anyway, not an entertainment channel. Here to give back. But don't think I'm the end all be all. I do not know everything. Obviously, we got some super duper smart people in the chat, which I keep pointing to, thinking you can see me point to it. You can't. We got some super smart people in the chat here. Man, Ashley, I don't know if you're still on from Australia, but she has some great insights. Mr. 1997, he thinks like he knows. He knows all the news that's happening all the time. I feel like Trump calls him before Trump tweets because he already knows what's happening. JBL clearly has a phenomenal understanding of markets and order flow, volume delta, all that stuff. If you haven't checked out his Twitter account, x.com account, check it out. He's got some awesome posts on there. There's a just super smart people in here. So if you hear me say something, enjoy it, smile, laugh, but don't think I'm the end all be all super guru. I'm not. So, and you will never, I will never try to sell you a bucket of lies to get you to hit the like or the subscribe button. That's not me. Okay. I do have to go for a second because I got to call someone for work. I'm going to turn on Schwab. I'll mute the, I'll mute me and I'll turn my webcam off. I'll leave this on as long as I can, but I do want to stop the stream early so I can work on getting this out there. So here's Schwab. I'll be back when I can.
This kind of 3%.
Hey everybody. Sorry about that work call interruption. It's 11:11. I just flipped NQ back on. Two big put walls growing above that. Had a couple entries on Sentinel Overwatch. Little risky to trade at the end of the hour, but you can see it still went below that green line and went up, didn't breach the cloud. Here's ES. Okay, so you see all this volatility in ES. So if you see a candle close outside of the green cloud, then we got to move the volatility AI engine up. So we just hit alpha and go. And now it's a little bit safer. Or you can leave it there. Again, not a trade recommendation. And you can set any type of buy order below the cloud. But again, towards the last 10 minutes of the hour, I would not recommend taking any trades. First minutes or so of the hour, absolutely. But the last 10 minutes, I would not do it. Now, I'm going to be, when I sell this, it's going to be sold. You will have it, own it forever. There's a lot of other trading tools, not a lot. There's one other trading tool that looks similar to this that just for futures is $180 a month. For stocks, it's $180 a month. And if you buy them both, you pay like $250 a month. But then every week you have to get an update. But I've built the updates that would go into this already in the engine. So you don't need that. That's why I think that tool is superior. But I got to go up and get lunch. I am starving. So I'm going to go make that and I'll be back. Can I get you guys anything to eat? You hungry? You want something to drink? If so, put your order in so I can make it when I'm up there. I do deliver via Tactical Eats. This is a joke. I don't deliver food, but I'm going to go get something to eat. I'll be back. Okay, just made my salad. Got some questions here. Raising Cane, what's up? You been playing any poker lately? Raising Cane said, "What are the green and red bands? Clouds. Are you talking about on the Gex heads-up display, or when I was showing the Sentinel Overwatch?" Koa, thank you. See you tomorrow. Have a good one. Raising Cane, let me know which one you were talking about specifically, because uh, on this chart, if you're talking about this, I don't know if you can see my cursor. I don't know if that's showing up. I don't think it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. On this, if you're talking about this area, this is the order flow volume profile, and it's at each price level. And the red represents the order flow sell volume, and the green is the buy volume. So you can see at every price level, we've had buys outweigh the sells. Mainly. Maybe that's a visual tool. Now, if you were talking about this, this is another visual tool I've made. It's not the gamma exposure heads up display. This is the Tactical Data Desk Sentinel Overwatch. This will be for sale on the website soon also. These clouds, the red cloud at the top, the green cloud at the bottom, those are plotted. I have an AI engine inside this that watches the volatility and price action, and it plots the mathematical boundaries of where price is going to be overextended. That's what those clouds are. Like for meaning, like if price gets through this red dashed line and goes into a cloud, that is extreme overextension, particularly when we are on operational condition alpha. So if we move up in operational condition to Bravo, Charlie, or Delta, that just expands the volatility calculation. But we only do that if we get a breach of the cloud in the current operational condition. But typically we just do that. We just check between the 9:30 a.m. and 10:30 a.m. But you can see this is NQ. This is 9:30 a.m., the vertical white line, the yellow, the vertical white line, the yellow white line marks 10 a.m. You watch the price between 9:30 and 10. No trades between 9:30 and 10. Recommended. You can if you want. And then what we look for is afterwards, if price closes, depending on your aggressiveness, if price gets into the red dashed line, closes above it, you want to look for a return to that dashed line and then a close below it, this candle, or an open and close below it, this candle. And then you could sell and wait for it to retrace all the way back down to this gray line. And so that's that. Here it is on ES. See how we had a breach here at 1050? So you typically move up to the next level where it expands the volatility calculation. Here's SPY. SPY on alpha. You could have played them touches. Here it is on S&P 500. And here it is on NVIDIA. NVIDIA, typically not a huge fan of trading the last 10 minutes of the hour, but the first, 10 to 15 minutes of the hour, great. Here's big retracement on NVIDIA where it called it out. And this works. This particular visualization tool works on everything. We earlier we looked at NVIDIA yesterday's chart. Yesterday's was perfect. So if you saw the analysis yesterday, I was talking about if we close over 210, it's gamma squeeze on the way up. And once we got above 210, it was gamma squeeze on the way up. But every time an hour starts, that hour starts at the green, You buy, sell at the red. Starts at the green, buy, sell at the red. Starts at the green, buy, sell at the red. You do that all day, make a killing on NVIDIA, or just buy and hold. Of course, hindsight's 2020, just telling you how this visualization tool works. So 2 different clouds. I'm not sure which one you were talking about, but okay, I've got my salad. I've got to eat, and then pretty soon I'll be turning this off because I'm going to finalize this heads up display and all this loaded on my website, get it into the ecosystem so we can get this out to everybody. Okay.